Hello, and welcome to Learning Across Kansas. My name is Tabatha Rosproy, and I'll be your host for today's episode. Learning Across Kansas is a partnership between the Kansas State Department of Education and the Public Broadcasting System. We hope to bring educational activities into your home while we deal with the social distancing and health issues that face our society today. In this week's episode, we will be learning all about the weather. Every day when I get up, I check the weather forecast. It helps me to know what I can wear that day, if I can play outside or not, and how to stay safe. The weather seems so magical because a lot of us don't know where the weather comes from. Even though we are going to reveal some of those secrets today, thinking about weather is still pretty magical. Even some sports teams are named after the weather. First today, we are going to join Mrs. Henwood as she teaches us about different forms of water and a fun rainy day activity you can do at your home. Then we'll go to the lab of Mrs. Wynn, where she talks to us about the wind and how it works. Let's go.
Oh, hello, friends. I don't know what the weather is like in your neck of the woods, but here today, it's rainy and kind of gloomy. So on rainy and gloomy days, I like to come into the kitchen because math and science are always around us in the kitchen. So today I've decided to make a special snack. My snack is using any blue colored gelatin, some water, and that's about it. But a funny thing about water comes in many forms. It comes in a liquid, like in this glass. An ice cube is a solid form of water. And then steam. And funny thing about steam, when steam rises into the atmosphere and starts to cool, the water droplets start to stick together and come down to the earth in the form of rain. So let's assemble our yummy snack.
My recipe calls for 1 cup of boiling water and 1 cup of cold water. Which of these cups would help me measure the volume of exactly 1 cup of water? That's right, the measuring cup is the best option. Let's get started.
And now we wait. Friends, I am so excited because we waited and now our snack is almost ready. So our gelatin that once was a liquid it's now ready to add our toppings to. I am so excited. So I've got some whipped topping I'm going to put on top. And then my favorite part about a rainy day, when the sun starts to come out and you can see a rainbow. So I'm going to top this with some rainbows. And now I'm ready to enjoy my snack. What things can you do on a rainy day? Hope to see you again soon.
Whoa! That Kansas wind! That's something we're all very familiar with. I wonder about wind. I wonder where it comes from. Before we can understand where wind comes from, we have to learn a little bit about sink and float and a little bit about density. Let's take a closer look at sinking and floating. I have a green wooden bead. When I drop it in the water, it stays on the surface of the water. We say that it floats. When I take a penny and I drop it into the water, it goes clear to the bottom. We say that it sinks. Why does the green wooden bead float? Because its molecules are farther apart and less dense than the water. Why does the penny sink? Because its molecules are packed very tightly and it is more dense than the water. Let's look at density a little bit closer. Right now, I have 2 cups of room temperature water. I have a vial of hot water and a vial of cold water. Let's see how they interact. when I put the vial of hot water in the room temperature water, that's right. The hot water is rising, is floating to the top. When I take the blue vial of cold water, let's see what happens. That's right. Most of the blue water, the cold water, is staying in the vial or sinking to the bottom. Why does that happen? Because warm water is less dense than room temperature water. Cold water is more dense than room temperature water. So hot water rises and cold water sinks. Now that we have learned about the density of different temperatures of water, how can we apply that to air? Well, gases and liquids behave much the same. So we can infer that hot air rises and cool air sinks to the ground. So the sun heats the earth and the air around the earth rises, and as it rises and moves, it cools and falls back to the earth and gets warmed again, creating this cycle of heating and cooling, which moves the air from place to place. And this cycle that you're seeing of heating and cooling is the beginning of your understanding of wind.
Oh, man. I just got hit with a big gust of Kansas wind when I went outside to check the mail. I didn't even see it coming. Thank you, Mrs. Wynn and Mrs. Henwood, for teaching us about water and wind. Stay tuned. We've got a message coming up, but I'll be right back after I work on this hair.
Kansas school buildings may be closed for the remainder of the academic year, but school is still in session. Keeping students engaged in the learning process during this extraordinary time is critical for their ongoing success. We salute our teachers, parents, and guardians who are committed to ensuring their students finish this year strong. We're all ready for our lives to get back to normal, but until that time, Kansas students, keep learning and keep working towards your goals. Together, Kansans can.
Welcome back. One of my favorite things about my day is getting to watch these amazing teachers teach us so many new things in our own homes. Next up, we have Mrs. Nobach, who is going to teach us a mystery song and teach us about 2 sounds in music. Then we'll see Mrs. Clark, who is going to talk to us about observing the weather and the landscapes and how we can draw those in our very own sketchbooks. Let's go.
Hi, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Nobach. Today's show is all about the weather, and I have a mystery song for you. We're going to find out what this mystery song is in our lesson. A couple things that we need to remember as we do our lesson. Nice, light singing voice. We're going to find 2 different sounds in our mystery song, and we're also going to be able to read and show those sounds in music. So the first clue is about the weather. The second clue is there's a picture of it. I'm going to sing it for you guys. I want you to listen very closely because you might know what it is. Loo, 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 loo. Have you heard that song before? I was looking at the umbrellas above the line. I think those mean high sounds. And the umbrellas below the line, I think that would mean what, boys and girls? Low sounds. Would you sing this mystery song on high and low with me? High, low, high, low, high, low, low, high, low. Very good job, boys and girls. I wonder if we could show our accents on our body. If you put your hands on your head, that's high. If you put your hands on your shoulders, that's low. Let's try it. High, low, high, low, high, low, low, high, low. I think we're so close to solving this mystery. What is this song? It's Rain, Rain, Go Away. Boys and girls, would you sing the words with me as we sing along? Rain, rain, go away, come again another day. Rain, rain, go away, little Johnny wants to play. Boys and girls, thank you very much for using your nice, light singing voices. And also in our lesson, We talked about 2 different types of sounds, high and low. And then we also got to read and show high and low sounds in music. Wonderful job, boys and girls. Thank you for singing with me. Have a wonderful day.
Hello artists, you found me. I'm outside creating art today in this beautiful Kansas weather because I want to make a picture of land. That's called a landscape. Every landscape has what's called a horizon line. That's a line between the ground and the sky. Here you can see my curved horizon line across the top of the hill. Below the horizon line are the playset, the trees and the fence that are on the ground. And above is the sky above the hill. Now it's time for color in our artwork. What color is the Kansas sky? Well, it's not always blue. It depends on the time of day and the weather. So artists use a skill called observing to look closely and notice the color and shapes around them. You can use a device to take pictures at different times of day and in different weather conditions to observe cloud formations and colors of the sky. Did you notice how the sky looked gray on a cloudy day, bright blue today when it's sunny, and has warm colors during sunrise and sunset? When an artist is observing, they record their observations in a sketchbook like this. You want to make a sketchbook at home? Take a stack of paper, fold it in half like a book, and you have your own homemade sketchbook. You can record pictures of things that you see around the house or things that you see on TV or in books. Use these sketches not as a perfect drawing, but as a starting place for other artwork you do later. I'll finish my artwork with some crayons and markers, and if I have a paintbrush around, I can add a little water to turn my water-based marker into paint. Check out these weather artworks from the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. Eugene Delacroix observed light coming through clouds in his painting Sunset. This is Autumn Oaks by George Innes, and it shows dark storms on the horizon. And this is Twilight on the Sound by John Frederick Kensett. Don't you love the orange glow of sunset? Now it's your turn to observe weather, like Peyton in 3rd grade in St. George, who made a sketchbook of different types of weather. Marlo in Great Bend in kindergarten made a picture of a flood, and Leo in 2nd grade made his painting of a tornado. Happy creating, artists!
Thank you, Mrs. Nobach and Miss Clark. In my class, we know that rainy days are the best for jumping in puddles. While we take our next break, I am going to draw something in my own sketchbook that shows how the weather is today in Winfield, where I live. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Here's what I drew in my sketchbook while you were gone. It is a beautiful sunny day in Winfield, Kansas, and I planted some sunflower seedlings in my yard. Right now they're still pretty small, but soon they will be big and beautiful butterflies. Even though it's a beautiful day here, I'm glad I kept my umbrella nearby, because in the next 2 segments with Mrs. Loevenstein and Mrs. Rogers, it's going to be raining. Let's go see.
Oh, hey friends, Mrs. Rogers here. You got here just in time. You won't believe this. Do you hear that sound? Yeah, rain, but not just any kind of rain. It's raining compound words. That's weird. Did you hear the sound when I said compound words? Does that sound again? What is happening? Am I in a movie? Anyway, do you know what a compound word is? A compound word is made up of 2 words that put together make a brand new word, like basket, ball, put together makes up the word basketball, or butterfly makes the word butterfly. That's right. But watch out. You can't just throw any 2 words together to make a compound word. They have to stand alone and make sense, Like the word lightning? Light is a word, but have you ever heard of a ning? Me either. That's because ning is not a word. It's a nonsense word. Sorry, lightning. Anyway, compound words. I love to put one word in one hand and the other word in the other hand and smush them together like I'm putting together two pieces of a sandwich, which could get a little messy. Anyway, have you ever heard a compound word rainstorm before? Or seen one? No? Hey, come check it out.
Look at all these compound words on all the raindrops. Hey, raindrop is another compound word too. Rain and drop. What else do you see? I see a raindrop with a thunderstorm. Thunder and storm. Do you see a cute little chick with a raincoat on? Hey, that's another one. Rain and coat. Do you see another compound word? Sunshine. That word is made up of sun and shine. Excellent.
So friends, are you ready to show your grown-ups everything you know about compound words? Here's a little game that you can play. You can write one part of a compound word on an index card or a piece of paper, and then you can write the other part on another, and then you can play a little memory matching game. Or, my favorite, how many of you have played snowball fight before? Yeah, here's what you can do. Take recycled paper, write down the compound word on it, crumple it up, have a little snowball fight, set a timer, and when the timer goes up, find a snowball, open it up, read the compound word, and you have to name both parts of that compound word. Doesn't that sound like fun? I hope you guys have fun with it. Can't wait to see you next time. Bye!
It's great to see you back today. I can't wait to share a lesson with you. But I decided that since this week we're talking about weather, we ought to go outside and learn from there. Let's go outside and see what the weather is doing. Well, we made it outside, but wow, it is certainly windy and rainy out here. Obviously, the weather today is going to make it a challenge for us to learn anything. Rather than continue to fight the wind and rain, let's just go back inside. Well, I'm sure glad that we got in out of that crazy weather outside so that we can talk in here. You know, that wind, though, reminds me sometimes of how I feel inside of me. Do you ever feel anxious or scared or worried or nervous about something? It's almost as though your emotions are like that wind and they're blowing all over inside of you and you have a storm brewing up inside. When I have those moments, I found something that helps me a bit. And I'm going to teach you today how to make a mindfulness calming bottle, and then in the end, I'll show you how you can use it. I take an empty water bottle and I fill it a third of the way full with glycerin, or you can use clear liquid glue also. Then I add 1 tablespoon of glitter, 2 to 3 drops of liquid dish soap, and that helps to break up the glitter. And then I fill up the rest of the bottle with warm water and I close it up tightly. I also made one here with corn syrup because I had that on hand. And I filled it halfway full with the corn syrup, and I added some building blocks that I had on hand. You can use any lightweight objects that you have in your home, and they'll do the same thing. And then make the rest of the bottle just like the other one. Well, here's how you can use these mindfulness bottles. When you are feeling anxious or nervous or scared or worried, shake that bottle up and watch that glitter swirling around just like the emotions are inside of you. And then set that bottle down and begin to watch that glitter settle down to the bottom, just like your emotions begin to settle down when you relax. Take some deep breaths, watch the glitter begin to settle, and think about how those emotions and those anxious thoughts in you are also settling down. They don't go away, just like that glitter doesn't go away, but you do become more calm and those emotions become more manageable. Well, I'm sure glad that we were able to get out of that wind today and to learn how to calm those storms that are inside of us sometimes. I'm wishing for you a storm-free week, and I'll see you again next time.
Wow. Thank you, Mrs. Loevenstein. That is a great way to calm down when you're feeling all stormy inside. And thank you, Mrs. Rogers. I learned a lot about compound words, and it even reminded me of a joke I know. Do you guys want to hear it? Okay. What do you call a sparrow in a tornado? A whirlybird. That was a good one, wasn't it? We'll be right back.
Hey parents, you're doing great! With Kansas school buildings closed and homes being turned into classrooms, parents and caregivers have expanded their roles in their students' learning. This is a new experience for most of us, so let's show one another a little grace. When you and your students start to feel overwhelmed or stressed, take a break. It's really okay. Keeping students interested and engaged in learning is the key to success. Remember, you have an entire community of fellow caregivers and teachers to lean on. Reach out. Together, Kansans can.
There you are. I'm so glad you're back. In our next two segments, we are going to hear from Mrs. Baugh, who is going to teach us different ways to move our body that are like the different weather that Kansas has. Then we are going to hear from Mrs. Schneider, who is going to teach us how to graph the weather in a picture graph and with tally marks. I can't wait.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Movement with Mrs. Baugh. Today we're going to talk about 3 different kinds of weather that happens in Kansas: tornadoes, thunderstorms, and blizzards. You're going to need some space today to do some exercises. So please make sure you're not close to anybody or any furniture or anything that could hurt you. Otherwise, just get ready. Let's learn with movement. See you soon.
Hello, everybody! Mrs. Baugh's back with a little bit of physical education for you today. I have a really special guest with me. Her name is Brinley. Brinley, can you say hello? Brinley and I are going to do some exercises with you today that are going to help you remember different kinds of weather that happens in Kansas. Okay? So the first one we're going to talk about is a thunderstorm. A thunderstorm is loud and noisy. The clouds are rolling, the lightning flashes. So we're going to do some shoulder rolls. So like the clouds roll, our shoulders are going to roll. Ready, Brad? 1, join us. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. Make sure you're doing these with us. Next, we're going to talk about a tornado. Tornadoes can be scary, so it's important that you always go to a safe place if there's one approaching. Tornadoes are kind of something that happens in Kansas a lot. Another word for a tornado is a twister. So we're going to do a twister dance. You're going to do it with us. Keep your tummy tight. Ready, Brent? Woo! Twist! We're twisting our bodies around. Good job. All right, another one I want to talk about. In the winter in Kansas, sometimes we have things called blizzards. Blizzards mean snow falls and the wind blows, and it's usually really cold. So we're going to run in place to keep us warm. Ready, Bryn? Let's run. Whoa, this one really makes your heart beat fast. Good job, boys and girls. So today, I hope we help you to remember some different kinds of weather that happens in Kansas and some exercises that will help you connect it. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Hey everybody, welcome back. I know you guys have been learning a lot of amazing things about weather and making observations of the weather. So today I want to share with you how we can graph all of those observations or the data that we're collecting for our weather observations. So I have been observing the weather for about 2 weeks, and I have 14 different observations or pieces of data. So I'm going to put them into a picture graph and a tally chart. So when we have a picture graph, that's when we have pictures that represent each of our data pieces. So I am looking at finding how many sunny days we had, how many windy days, how many snowy days, how many rainy days, and how many cloudy days. So up above is all of my observations and pictures for each day that I recorded the weather. So what I need to do is to sort all of those into the category they fit. So first I'm going to collect all of my sunny pieces, and I'm going to put them on the sunny line. So they'll go all the way across. So now I can see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sunny days. So then I can write that on my tally chart, and I just draw little lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then to 5, I have to cross it. All right, now we'll see how many windy days we had. There's one, and another one, and another one. So when we're putting it in our chart, we want to line them up so that we can see the difference of each line. So I have 1, 2, 3 windy days. And so with my tally chart, I just make 3 little lines. All right, and then my snowy days, because it's Kansas, there's always some weird weather thing going on. So we have 1 snowy day. And so we just draw 1 little line. And then rainy. And I can count those. 1, 2, 2 rainy days. So I draw 2 little tally marks. And then cloudy. And I have 1, 2, 3 cloudy days. So I draw 3 little lines. So again, my picture graph shows everything with a picture, and my tally chart shows me how many I have with each little line. So I can use that, and I can say how many days, or which day had the most. And we can see from both of them that sunny had the most. We can look at our chart and see which had the least, and that would be snowy because there was only 1. So I challenge you to watch the weather for a week and make your own chart, tally chart or picture graph of your observations and data for that week. Have fun, and thanks for learning with me.
Thank you, Mrs. Baugh and Mrs. Schneider. There really is all kinds of weather in Kansas, and sometimes we get multiple types of weather in the same day. A song I like to sing with my class goes like this. What's the weather? What's the weather? What's the weather today? Is it windy? Is it cloudy? Is there sun or is there rain? And that gets us thinking about what the weather will be. But right now I want you to think, what's your favorite type of weather? Mine is the crisp, cool, sunny fall weather that we get around October. Think and ponder about your favorite type of weather and tell someone in your family. On behalf of Kansas educators, we love you, we miss you, and we were so glad we got to spend time with you today. I'm Tabatha Rosproy, and I'll see you next time.